Hello, guys. A very huge welcome to our very first episode of the Building Blocks of AutoFi series. So, today we are kicking things off with some of the OG builders in the ecosystem, and it's going to be such a powerful session. So, without any further ado, I'll hand it over to Mr. Square to get us started.
Welcome everyone to the very first episode of Building Blocks of AutoFi. Uh, I am Mr. Squire, founder of Solido, and I have been really looking forward to this specific moment for some time now. At Solido, our vision has always been simple: make DeFi autonomous, make a system where liquidity can manage itself, risk can balance itself, and yield can flow on its own. As I was saying that I have been really looking forward to this time that we will start this podcast series, and really happy that we have been able to do that. Now we really believe that automation is the missing piece that takes crypto from experimental to unstoppable. And I will be honest here with you. I am incredibly bullish on AutoFi. It's not just a buzzword. Uh, it's the foundation of how the next wave of on-chain finance will work. But it's also new. It's evolving, and I think it deserves to be explained directly by the people who are building it. And that's what we are here for. With this Access Space series, we aim to create more awareness among users and builders for that they have been missing out on. Now, episode one is a special one for us. Uh, for this kickoff, we have gathered the OGs, the teams who have been building AutoFi from the very start. We have here Jatin, who has been deep in the trenches with Supra even before mainnet launched. Uh, Now, Supra 2.0 is live with much powerful AutoFi primitives, and Jatin has been playing a major role in propagating this technology among all the Web3 builders. We have Yong from Crystara, Supra's flagship NFT marketplace. They recently hit a milestone of 100 million Supra market cap, so very congratulations to them. Jay from Dexlyn, the first AMM on Supra, who are now expanding into CLMMs and perps. And of course, myself from Solido, where we have been building the liquidity primitives for AutoFi. Now, all these teams that we have gathered, these are the very first protocols to go live when Supra mainnet launched earlier this year. They have seen AutoFi grow from scratch, they have tested it, and they know its power. So we thought, who better to kick this off? Now, before we dive into intros, a quick note. This will be a conversational flow. We will keep it interactive. So if you have a question, put it in the reply. And yes, the session is being recorded, so it will be available later as well. Now let's align everyone on the same page, right? So we will quickly do a round of intros. I would love for the speakers to tell who they are, what they have been doing before this, and what prompted them to build with Supra and AutoFi. So why don't we start here with the start of our guest, Jatin? Jatin, would you mind giving us a quick rundown on this?
So hey everybody, good to e-meet or whatever you can say, everyone. So I am Jatin. I am the senior developer relations engineer at Supra Labs, and been pretty much very closely working with the engineering and product team to get the AutoFi, which is the block level automation of Supra and by Supra out there, with developer tools, documentations, demos, word of mouths, and you will always see me working and lurking around the shadows of Autofy to build something really cool. Even right now, as we speak, I'm creating something which will be totally new, or even on Autofy level. I mean, imagine combining everything: blockchain, Autofy, agents, and everything. So I'm always lurking around the same lens of Autofy, And I'm looking forward to all the chat that we can do right now. And I'm happy that it's on mainnet. So anyone who is a developer here can go ahead and try AutoFi. And even if you're not, you can. I mean, that's the best part about it. But yeah, that's pretty much about me. Looking forward for the chat.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Jatin. It's always great to see how you have been helping us and every other builder getting up to the speed on what we want to do. This is definitely a very new technology, right? This is something that we haven't seen before, and it requires a lot of support, right, directly. And Jatin is kind of the bridge from the ecosystem product to the chain, right, to the Supra. So really appreciate all the good work that Jatin does, and we can really see on his from his GitHub profile to everything that everything he has been doing. Thanks a lot, Jatin. So next we have Jay Kapoor from Dexlyn. Hey Jay, can you give us a quick rundown about you, what you were doing before Dexlyn, and what prompted you to build with Supra?
Hi everyone, I'm Jay. I am the product manager at Dexlyn, and we're basically building the next gen techs on Supra. We have spot trading, we have perps, and we basically have one obsession here to make trading as smooth as centralized exchanges, but fully on chain. So you may think of it as this way, like capital efficient AMMs for like pros, game like UX for normies, and eventually automation baked in, so everyone can stop bleeding value to bots. We have launched perpetuals and concentrated liquidity on testnet. Our main dex is obviously live on mainnet, and eventually it is all going to be powered with Supra's AutoFi rails. So your pools, your positions won't need babysitting from you. And we genuinely believe that AutoFi is the future, not only for DeFi but for finance, and we're here for it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jay. We have been also working with Dexlyn since being the first AMM, and AMM is really, I would say, very much the base of establishing DeFi, right? I don't think there can be a DeFi uh, until we have a Dex. So it's pretty much important. We have been working with the team from the day one when we started. Really appreciate Jay for you for joining us.
Yeah, and it's been awesome working together. Really appreciate you having us all.
Great. And then we also have Yong from Crystara. Yong, would you mind giving us a quick rundown about you?
Hello, everyone. This is Yong. I'm the founder of Crystara. And so, what I do day to day is I manage basically, Crystara's development from the hackathon since the Super Movers hackathon. And currently, I manage the day to day operations for Crystara, the premier NFT marketplace on Supra. The question asked what I was doing before Crystara. Well, I was a live ops representative for a army camp in Singapore. We were doing like tactical operations and stuff. So it was mandatory national service, and then I built Crystara during that. I'm now officially operationally ready, so I'm out of camp, and so why I chose to build with Supra is because it's really the first chain that does everything fully vertically. You don't have fragmented things like, oh, where do you find a randomness function? Where do you find oracles? You need to speak with so many different partners. At Supra, because we're so early, we have all of the tools available for us builders to kind of explore and easily integrate with. So that is definitely why I chose to build with Supra. So that's just a little about me.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Yong. Really appreciate the breakdown. And we know that it's you have been very young, and I think definitely this military exercise is very helpful in building out the real leadership. So I'm sure that's why you can achieve a lot of these things at a young age. Really appreciate you building with us on Supra. All right, so now let's dig down inside AutoFi. But before we do that, let's address the big elephant in the room that has been capturing the entire crypto Twitter and Supra, uh, and Supra as well, and the Supra Twitter as well lately. So Jatin here recently met and had a chat with the Vitalik Buterin, and it's a big deal, and I thought that it must be brought up. So Jatin, without giving away maybe a lot of alphas on what you got with the chat with Vitalik, can you give us some insight that how was the chat and what you took away from that chat?
Of course. So I mean, yeah, so it was like really not planned. It was just like, one of the things that sort of just happens when you are here and you know a few people. And so Vitalik was here, and I just happened to have, a series of events that led up to having in the same room as him. And he also had the chance to, basically finally like tell like a lot of things that he might has in his mind. So he also stopped people to like cut off our conversation, so we sort of kept running and running and running, like for, I guess it was like a whole hour since I was there. And I mean, there were like a lot of conversations. We talked about um everything from the future of Ethereum and his vision. I talked about so basically we also talked about like Silicon Valley, the show, if anyone know about it, like how I've seen it and got inspired. I mean, that's like a perfect Web3 show. I mean, if you're in Web3, you should definitely see Silicon Valley, you know. So with Vitalik, I sort of synced up about the show of Silicon Valley and the whole concept of a decentralized internet. Then we talked about innovation, like having more bringing more liquidity into the on-chain ecosystem, having the liquidity providers get better incentives, which led up to an introduction from my side about POEL as well. And then we talked about AutoFi, in block level automation specifically, and Supra being the first chain actually being able to achieve it on a mainnet level. And then we talked up, I think then the next part of the conversation that went like very, very long was about multi-VM architecture and how to implement that on a protocol level versus on a consensus level versus on architecture level. So this was the overview of the whole conversation. But if I have to pinpoint something, we really did talk a lot about block level automation, pros and cons, according to him, on having automation on chain. One of the things that I genuinely felt that was best part of the conversation was, so his biggest worry, Vitalik's biggest worry was how much fee a person would have to pay to have an on-chain registered automation task. So I mean, we know the gas has always been one of the things that Ethereum has been trying to solve, right? So I mean, I did, so this art is like something that we actually were able to find a good spot to like pinpoint about AutoFi on Supra, where I was able to tell them that we have been able to build something that has optimized the amount of fee that you are paying, as well as provide this automation on a block level that provides the security that we talked about, like how the third party integrations that provide automation has been compromising your wallet's private keys and everything. So I think that is what stand out, like how Supra has been able to handle some different kinds of use cases on a block level automation perspective, as well as making sure that the fee that people generally pay for it is so minimal that you generally don't even care about it, being very blunt. So you just finally focus on the use case that you can go ahead, like smart top up, smart withdrawal, limit order, stop loss order. Or recently, I yesterday only we talked about releasing averaging down, where you can buy a fixed or a percentage with amounts of any asset when the price stops. So all these use cases with having such a very less than negligible fee, I think that is a one problem that we were able to solve. And he did told me that or block level automation, or to be precise, a smart contract automation was one of the things that was discussed in the very early days of Ethereum. But because initially their focus was more on like being able to provide decentralization to developers and the complexity and the challenges for AutoFi, so they were really not able to work on it. So I mean, it's great to see that we are extending sort of like the vision that Ethereum wanted or tried, and we have been able to implement it on a mainnet level, being able to achieve tens of millions of transactions when we went to mainnet. I mean, it's been a great series of events.
Nice, amazing, Jatin. I think then you really had a lot of chat, kind of from Silicon Valley to the early days of Ethereum. So look like definitely a very good long chat. So and definitely, kind of, I think the key takeaway here has been, kind of from the chat, or the point about that, Ethereum also tried AutoFi or automatic DeFi into its early days, but definitely those have been very different time, right? I mean, we can see that what Supra is doing today with AutoFi is not an instant work. This has been built on the years of research and research papers that has been created, right? The experiments have been done, so it really took a lot of time, and of course Supra had already a smart contract base, right, that on which they could build upon. So and this is really what I like a lot about Web3. This is how we are different from a lot of these different industries where there is competitiveness and the IP protection and things like this. Web3 is much more about openness. So when a new builder or when a new team joins in, they don't really have to go and restart and kind of reinvent the entire wheel, but they can actually check the open source version. They can take the research papers of what's been done before, and then they can start on top of it building. And that's why I think just in the 10 years of a smart contract uh, time, we have come up so far in how blockchains can function. And definitely Supra is one of those blockchain which has been taking it much more ahead with its novel concept of AutoFi. Thanks a lot, Jatin, for sharing this. I'm sure it was a very fun conversation to have. You were at the right place at the right time, nonetheless. So, all right, then let's move on to and go to our other speakers. So, I have a fun question to start with, and it's a very random question. So maybe whatever can come in the mind of speakers, they can say that. So, if we imagine that AutoFi is really a superhero power, then what would your project superpower be? Uh, Yong, do you want to take a stab at this?
I think my project's superpower would be automatically handling your NFT transactions for you. Like, if let's say you wanted to snipe NFTs at the end of a collection, maybe you know that there's a rare one left in a collection, you want to snipe it, yeah, you go ahead and do it with AutoFi. It will empower people to automatically handle their NFT trades. Yeah, I'll pass it on to Jay.
Yeah, I think combining Dexlyn with AutoFi would be like Iron Man. Would be just combine that raw trading power with like intelligence, risk engines, and smart liquidity. I think it would be really, really powerful. For example, for concentrated dexes, if your position is going out of range, you can just have a AutoFi command that brings it back into the range, so you continue earning fees on your liquidity. And yeah, you can do things like that on perpetuals as well. Just have a limit order, or like just have a listening engine sort of looking at whether your position is going somewhere near liquidation, and just add collateral there. There's literally so much you can do just with AutoFi. So yeah, I think we'll be kind of like Iron Man there.
Amazing. No, I totally agree. There is a lot of things that can be done, and especially in a complex environment like a concentrated dex and perps, it comes down really handy. All right, so then let's move on to the next section, that is what is AutoFi. We will explore in that. And I have a brief background onto this since we have been also building on this. And what we really think that AutoFi can mean very different thing for different projects and different builders. Now, what we at Solido believe is that at the very core of AutoFi, what means is that automation is built natively into the chain. So, like for Solido, it means liquidations, rebalancing, arbitrage, triggers, all happening on chain without relying on external keepers or bots. And this allows us to create user experiences simply not possible elsewhere. With Supra 2.0 especially, AutoFi hasn't just remained a side feature, but it's really now the base layer. Vertical integration of oracles, VRFs, and cross-chain messaging creates this, provides this fundamental layer where where these DeFi apps can just plug in uh, AutoFi primitives. They have been building some AutoFi primitives as well. Probably Jatin will tell later about it. Automated arbitrage, liquidations, which are kind of providing the foundation building blocks of Supra 2.0. And how really this impacts DeFi and the DeFi builders like us is that instead of extractive behavior that we have seen in many other chains like Ethereum and Solana, automation allows users to capture these good MEV, how I like to say it, that they allow users to capture this and redistribute this value back inside the ecosystem. So that means that the protocols and users, not outside actors, benefit from this on-chain activity. And I really see that this is one of the major benefit, or major upgrade from what we know as about the DeFi on Solana or DeFi on Ethereum. So this has been what our tech is, but definitely I have kind of more well equipped people to tell that. So Jatin, for you, because you interact with DeFi builders, many of them on a day to day basis. How do you explain AutoFi to a new builder? Could you give a simple example to show how it's different from Ethereum style DeFi?
Okay. I mean, so first of all, the one thing that people generally ask about is what is AutoFi, because AutoFi, the term itself, is something that Supra has at this point. I don't think it's wrong to say that literally has owned up, because so AutoFi, like the automated way of doing all this DeFi operations. So whenever people talk about AutoFi, there is just one thing that I talk about, that is, so initially you used to have this agents, this bots, this third party integrations to do your automated task for you on chain, and they would need either a wallet integration, wallet connection, or in some cases, if it is a person who does not know the implications of a private key, then they will just expose their private key by doing this third party GitHub repos of automation, and they just fork it and just do it, and by providing their private keys and so on and so forth, right? And we have seen like endless cases of how external automation with bots and agents have caused a lot of security failures, like throughout the years. I mean, there are a lot of examples of MetaMask itself, and you know it's like a centralized relayer of automation. You just don't like, or you just can't trust it, because it's not in your control. It's not related to the blockchain's validator layer, or a consensus level. So there is no like guarantee on the execution part if it will be as transparent and as on chain natively. So all these things are often confusing for people to understand. So then you have to talk about that. Hey, what is AutoFi? So AutoFi is just simply Supra's way of providing this level of automation to all the users who want to create this automated use cases or automated DeFi use cases on our blockchain, which is like smart top up, which is like just hey, top up my wallet if it goes below 100,000 Supra, or and maybe like buy Supra if X percentage goes down today or something like that, or I mean all these use cases that you needed like agents and bots or third party integrations to do, right? You say that Supra has introduced a way where you don't need to rely on this third party level of you don't need to rely on this third party agents or bots. Supra has built automation itself on the validator layer, right? As per se. So there is no room for the centralized, external protocols or relayers for to handle your private keys, to handle your operations, your smart contracts that increases your gas cost and increases your withdrawal cost, right? So it's just a way that it's just a problem that has been existing for so long and yet it has not been solved until now. So that's basically Supra sort of for you, a smart way to automate your smart contracts for any public entry function, right? Um, by just like providing it in your payload and do it everything on the validator layer on chain and be a part of the main blockchain security like ecosystem without compromising your own security or without compromising your internal strategies or your own personal smart contracts, everything on chain, yet safe, more easier to implement and more trusted to implement, with better use cases. So I think that's a way that I would like to take this conversation forward to explain someone AutoFi in a generalized conversation.
Nice, nice. Thanks a lot, Jatin. Actually, and this is very interesting perspective because we as builder also we look into kind of a niche of what our protocol does and how we are looking to implement AutoFi into this. But definitely, as you said, that many of the users for them it's really like the bare minimum things, right? That or the very the basic things that actually matters for them a lot, especially when we talk about new users onboarding, right? In inside DeFi. So like you said that they smart top ups, something like into a liquidity pool, which can definitely be extended to many more places, right? Like we also provide borrowing against Supra. So if you want to, kind of, you can automatically repay your loan if if your collateral is going down, or as you can, it's if it's going up, you can always take more loans, put this into our yield vault and start earning more yield. So you can really manage or let AutoFi manage with this smart top ups and smart repays to run these AutoFi. And definitely this is very helpful and useful. Thanks again for everyone towards this. Great insights, Jatin, into this. Moving on to Yong. Uh, how do you say, Yong, that when you explain AutoFi to someone in the context of Dexes, how do you simplify it? And the major reason is because NFTs are not really the first thing people think of when kind of when it comes with the AutoFi. So how do you explain the concept in plain simple terms?
Yeah, so I think when you look at NFTs, there are a lot of actions that you need to do manually. And if you've used Crystara before and you've known about the blind boxes that we introduced as mints, that sometimes some collections, there is like rare items that are left to the very end of the collection. And so naturally, there's some sort of maybe end of deck behavior where, the last 5 items of the crate might be more rare and guarantee something that's more rare compared to the earlier mints, just because, DVRF has returned, it's a fair trade. So sometimes there are some rare items that just get left to the last part. So if you think about AutoFi, what it can empower is basically auto management of what you actually want to do with your NFTs. For example, maybe I only want to mint this specific collection after everybody else has minted it, like 80% minted, then I'll mint one. So it's kind of auto processing all of your NFT trades and actions that you want to do on chain, but you don't have to use some secondary off-chain auto system that you have to connect, your private keys, and your account might get exposed and stuff like that. So auto NFTs is kind of like sniping and just managing your NFTs. Yeah.
Amazing. This definitely clears up a lot, and for sure, I think for the NFT traders, this really makes a lot of these things easier. Like you mentioned towards this. Let us, I think, in the next part, let us jump more into what kind of features that you are looking into. In the meantime, Jay, how would you like to explain AutoFi in the context of Texas? Uh, do you simplify it? Maybe in a very short, as a dinner table conversation, how do you put AutoFi for your use case?
Yeah, I mean, one line, I think AutoFi is basically a portfolio manager, an analyst, and a trader all rolled into one that is working for you 24/7, does not sleep, does not eat. Its only job is to maximize the returns to its best of its capabilities according to the parameters that you have set. You have control, you have security, and you have complete transparency as to what's happening and when it's going to happen.
Amazing, very well said, Jay. I think we definitely align on over there that it's kind of a portfolio manager, right? Working 24/7 for you, by you, right? And definitely doesn't take a break. And it's amazing to see what it can really do to DeFi. Great answer, Jay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this. All right, so now let's dig down a bit deeper into how AutoFi roadmap is coming up, and why don't we again start with Jatin? So Jatin, we heard that we know that Supra 2.0 just launched with AutoFi baked in. Can you just quickly walk in that what are the core primitives that are live today and the ones we can expect or the other builders here can expect in the near term roadmap?
Um, so certainly I can talk about as I was shared, right? The recent or the most updated update would be us finally getting the averaging down on mainnet for AutoFi, right? So I think, like, I personally believe this is one of the use cases on AutoFi, or one of the primitive use cases of AutoFi that will be used more compared to every use case out there, because like anyone who actually deals in crypto knows that how easily it has been a challenge to keep all this computations running and track each and every coin. And I mean, you never know how it will work, on how it will take place, right? Or what something will do, or what how something will go down. So the crypto is like a very volatile in nature. So you need a way where you don't need to be awake 24/7, 365, right? Um, so I think averaging down that recently released is gonna be a major launch on the mainnet level of AutoFi, that I think everybody should once try it, on how it can help you really, really manage your portfolio in a positive way, when you know what is the minimum or a fixed value where you give up, and and you move forward. So I think apart from that, the team has been working on introducing the other more two use cases, which is the trailing stop order, that is like buying or selling, whenever like your assets like price or like sort of like a asset threshold hit a certain number or a certain mark, right? So the trailing stop order is coming soon on mainnet. And yeah, I mean, limit order with Oracle score is also something that we have been working on. But if you ask me personally, what I'm excited about on a Supra 2.0 with AutoFi, that would be the introduction of Tau on AutoFi. The If anybody who is here and does not know what Tau means, it's basically threshold AI oracles, and it could be, or I am pretty sure to say the statement that it will be the best web3 oracle that the industry has seen, because it will be the oracle where you don't only have a oracle ecosystem which is fetching prices from all the sources, but which is a smart oracle which will work with AI and like consider this mini agents focused on each field, like risk analyzer, history analyzer, critical analyzer, um, change analyzer, or this mini experts which will define if it's a buy order or a sell order or a hold order. So this threshold AI oracle plus AutoFi, it's definitely is in the roadmap. I'm sure you will all get the roadmap in the community call. But that is the one thing that I am like super excited about. I mean, I have seen Tao in action, because we are testing it around. But believe me, yeah, I mean, when you see Tao in action, especially on AutoFi, combining the automation with this kind of mechanism, it is just mind blowing. And the use cases, especially for on a Dex level or a money market level, it's just like amazing, like, to be honest.
Great. I think we are really looking forward to the TAOs as well. And definitely for for someone like us who relies on Oracle a lot for many of our primitives, definitely this is going to be a game changer. We have been looking into it, and uh, kind of a lot of new ways, new kinds of strategies, or kind of going towards the primitives can be done with the Tao. So definitely, we are also looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, Jatin, for sharing this. I do see that there are a few builders here as well, so this should be really helpful for them too. Thanks. Now moving on to Jay, I think Jay, earlier you mentioned about rebalancing liquidity, especially with the concentrated CLMM pools, right? And we also know that you have the perpetuals coming on. That means that you will have to deal with the funding rates, liquidations. All of these will become critical. Can you just guide us on that? How it's looking like in your roadmap? That AutoFi can help you with all of these.
Yeah, I mean, the more we're exploring on AutoFi right now, we're coming up with so many use cases. It's pretty great stuff. But just high level stuff. For example, the best part of a concentrated DEX is, the way you define your position, where you add liquidity. Can define how much fees you can earn, and it could be more than the pool APR as well, because your liquidity is used to process swaps. So when AutoFi comes into picture, what you can do is basically continuously listen to the price, or say tell the agent to listen to the price, and whenever the price is out of range from where your liquidity is, you can just ask it to shift the ranges, so you're always earning fees. Like, apart from that, I think there's a ton of trading use cases. You can, complex strategies, like for example dollar cost averaging, right? You don't have to manually, like, every hour invest $10. All of that stuff you can program. You can take benefit of automation agents on chain without actually giving away your keys, without actually giving away any funds, which I think is, really powerful. So similarly in perpetuals as well, one of the uh, one of the things that happens is sometimes right when your position is about to get liquidated, the markets are moving, or you have a position that you actually believe in, but it's about to be liquidated, and in those cases you can just have the AutoFi bot add some collateral there, so it would protect your funds that you have already invested, as well as protect your position from being liquidated. So yeah, there's so many use cases that right now we're just trying to just cherry pick the ones that we really want users to kind of get from day one, and yeah, definitely have a lot more stuff with Onify coming up in our.
Oh, I totally agree there, Overjay, that there is so many things to do, build, or choose from, so many new features or new avenues to explore, and that sometimes it's difficult becomes difficult for us builders to prioritize on because really all of them looks like an amazing feature to have in your dApp, and just the idea that this feature couldn't have existed in the first place on any other chains, that kind of any other DeFi chains, just makes it more powerful because you are the first one over there, you are experimenting with it, and kind of this really makes you do more and more, but of course you are limited with things done one by one. So I'd say well done onto this. Anything specific what you are picking to provide as the first feature in your upcoming perp from AutoFi?
I mean, there definitely is a list, but I think this might be a little too early because we have shortlisted a few things, but we haven't yet finalized. Given how our release timelines are for perpetuals and concentrated. So yeah, definitely watch out our X for the use case that we do pick once we go live, but might be a little too early right now.
No, we can totally understand. I think we will be looking forward to having the perp text launch soon. I know that it has been going great on the test net, so really looking forward that we can have that soon. And of course, again for the CLMM as well, we have been. It would be definitely a game changing text, or how we manage liquidity on Supra with the Dexlyn CLMM coming in. So now, yep. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, 100%, man. Just so much stuff that we can do, which is not possible on any other chain. So yeah, definitely exciting times, and we can't wait for users to play around with everything that we're building.
Amazing, amazing. Now going to Yong. Um, so Yong, we recently, I think, a month ago. I'm not sure how time passes because you're not able to realize that. But yeah, I know that the soon enough Joshua popularized this concept of smart NFTs, and so just wanted to know that kind of because you are really the NFT guy here who has been kind of pushing on the boundaries of with new milestones. So just wanted to check that. What do you think about smart NFTs? And because from how the name it sounds like it's smart NFTs, it can do a lot. And when it comes to doing a lot, definitely AutoFi can add a lot of value. So do you see that something like auctions, blind boxes, creator royalties, anything gets changed, or is it that some entirely new feature that will come up with the smart NFTs and AutoFi intersection?
Yeah, I think this is a really great question. So for NFTs, if you look at, well, if you're a developer, you would know that in NFTs, you can kind of, NFTs itself can sign transactions. Okay. So it's a pretty cool tech that already exists. And then when you add AutoFi to it, you can kind of create dynamic NFTs that can, sign different things, sign different transactions, do different things on chain, really, really seamlessly. So something that like NFT having its own autonomy is something no other chain has. With AutoFi, you can empower an NFT to have automatic systems. So Joshua mentioned smart NFTs. What he's kind of referring to is essentially dynamic NFTs. So maybe ones that, levels up, ones that changes their pictures once a certain threshold is hit, ones or maybe the threshold AI oracles, once that's released, if the market conditions externally is going this way, then your NFT will show, like, if it's going down, then your NFT might be like red, but if the overall market is going up, then your NFT might be green. Something cool along those lines, basically making your NFTs go from static to dynamic. And I think these use cases haven't really been explored. And at Crystara, we are also exploring our own use cases with AutoFi. So that is to come.
All right, all right. I think that's really insightful on, and I'm sure that this new model for how these smart NFTs can behave can really plug into the whole system. But from what I understand is that what you are saying is that even without, even in the current space of NFTs, there is a lot that the Crystara is experimenting on. Anything, just if you want to bounce, no pressure. If you just want to bounce, anything new we can expect in coming months or quarter?
Um, so there is something, but it is still in its early days. One hint we can give out is that it is related to dynamic NFTs. Possibly a little bit of AutoFi. I can't say too much, but just know that it's an NFT with crazy utility, and it's something that you're gonna want because it has utility, and you're gonna want it even more because it is not a static NFT picture. It's something that can evolve, can change types. I'm gonna stop there. Yeah.
I think you leaked out a good amount of alpha, but no, I think this was a really good way to put it. Now we have the floor for speculation on what really can be done. So, uh, really amazing. I think it can be. Thanks a lot, Yong, for sharing. Now, going back to Jatin, like we see, like we all builders know that, and we have been using a lot of the codes that you have been writing, especially for blazing AutoFi into the projects. So, and so because you interact with so many builders, uh, can you just say that, is there anything like what's the number one pain point that you see among them in adopting AutoFi right now? Is there any one of
Um,
them that you want that has came up highlightable?
so to be honest, right, talking to builders also sometimes depends because I have been to hackathons where there were just vibe coders, right? So being a vibe coder, it is really hard to understand this very high level concept of smart contracts, entry functions, public functions, right? Because most of your work has been done by an AI. So I realized that one of the major pain point is the concept itself. So I know you, Mr. Square, Yong, Jay, like, and even I, right? We have been in the computer science and development ecosystem. A general developer, like understanding of things. So we can get the idea when someone says, oh my God, this is like the issue that came up in the public function, and this was the issue that came up when you actually, basically specified your payload. Send your payload while registering an automation task, right? Or this is what an epoch is, or how long a epoch will go, and this is how many epochs it will take to run a particular task for a month, right? All this thing, and even calculating epochs and everything on CLI has been, oh my God, I can't even tell you how big of a pain point. You had to calculate epoch, you have to calculate the expiry time by using the APIs that we had on the, the curl APIs that we had on the docs. So this has been a very like, good lasting problem when we initially were on testnet for automation, and we have been able to like come up with multiple ideas. So um like one day I was just thinking that what we can do, that we can just solve that. What if we have a dashboard where it will just give you the updated values, because in the end it is just basic logic building. So I thought to just create a platform, and then I realized that another pain point that people actually wonders is the CLI. So those who are actually devs here, and have done work on Supra's CLI, you know what I'm talking about, very clearly, right? So having the hang of the Docker CLI, running the commands, being able to specify the right parameter, the right type arcs, right? That is also a challenge. Many a times you write a small mistake in the entire CLI command, somewhere, maybe in the profile, maybe in the function, maybe just a missing like character in your function name, or maybe just a missing like U8 or U64, or or maybe like just anything in your type arcs, and here your automation registry just go out of the window. So this has been the another set of pain point. So then I thought, you know what? It was initially just a dashboard, the autofi.com, or like autofi.supra.com/assist was just a platform to see the epoch time and the expiry time. Then the idea came up in my head to add a way where I am able to like train the whole backend in a way where you can just use the REST APIs, fetch the module, fetch the entry function from the ABI of the module, click, and then you basically have the basic information that you can include in a CLI template. And then you give a type arc, you enter the type arc, it gives you like when you click on the button, it generates the CLI command, you copy it, you paste it, and you run it, right? So that's how it all take place. And the final pain point for AutoFi would be when we went to permissionless, and I realized that the white coders would have a lot of issues by just using or seeing at the CLI, right? So even if you have the whole CLI automation registry command, but you don't like using the CLI, or you don't even know how to use the CLI, that's another major pain point. And we want everybody to use AutoFi, right? AutoFi is for everybody. So I guess, I mean, I remember talking about it with Yong, Yong, you might remember us when we were talking about, how cool it will be if I can just register my task from the platform itself, and then so we had this discussion, and then I had the same discussion with the team, and I just went ahead, I chatted with the Starkey team, I chatted with the engineering team on, do we expose some kind of function or something. Then I realized that SDK has this function of sending raw automation transaction that you can directly sign via Starkey wallet. So I went on solving the final pain point, and now we have a perfect dev tool via which you just do clicks and use the button to register an automation via Starkey wallet without interacting with the CLI, the code, or anything, right? So I think that this is how the pain points has been so far, and how we have tried to solve them.
Amazing. No, yes, that's true, Jatin, and especially this is something of a new substrate that has come up, right? So, uh, experimenting, it can be sometime from the simple problems to the very new kinds of implementation. I mean, of course, Dockers and these are not new, but sometimes for some builders, this can be a new way of doing things, which can become challenging. But definitely good insights, for us team, for every other team that's here to know how to avoid some of those pitfalls, maybe. Now,
If I had to mention something, yeah,
yeah, please,
if you
Yong,
don't
go
mind,
on. For sure, for
yeah.
sure.
So when AutoFi first came out, it was like just a couple months ago. None of these AutoFi primitives, none of these AutoFi helping tools were existing, and it was really great to speak with Jatin to kind of move forward with some quality of life stuff for developers to kind of streamline the experience of using AutoFi. Now you can, as a developer, right? You are so used to calling transactions on your wallet via, the SDK. Just call wallet, create transaction, and then now you can simply do wallet dot create an AutoFi transaction, and it's just so seamless. Like you don't have to do any CRI magic, you don't have to do any of that kind of magic. So what I'm trying to say is it's only been 2 months, I would say, since AutoFi was released, and so much tooling has already been released. There are still some friction points to me. So AutoFi, when you start a task, it has to begin in the next epoch. Now, for developers, we all understand what an epoch is, right? But for the general public, epochs might not be something that clicks immediately. Like it's such a cryptic word, right? So they might start an AutoFi task and wonder, why is it not working immediately? And it also builds some sort of friction point for DApps where you have to kind of tell them that, oh, it will only start exactly at this time because that's how epoch works. So, in future iterations, AutoFi becomes more complex, can handle more transactions at a cheaper fee, and also maybe do something about the epoch system. There are just so many improvements which I know are just going to be done from how fast it has already been, improved on in terms of experience. And maybe look back in about 2 to 3 months, or even just like 6 months, and you'll see that AutoFi is something that is super smoothly going to be done.
Yeah, so I actually agree with Yong. I think this epoch thing is actually a pain point, and Square. This epoch thing is also a pain point in Supernova right now. So if you know I assets, right? I mean, how everybody's integrating it. So I asset takes like 2 epochs to mint, right? Which is, so sometimes, not just sometimes, most of the times, whenever somebody tries like minting I assets and on testnet, they come to us saying that, oh my god, I can't see my I asset, my wallet is empty. You guys did that, and I'm like, oh my god, just see at a timer. There is literally a timer that says minting will happen in 3 point whatever hours, right? And it can happen early. Like there are cases where I've gotten early, but it is like a blessing and a curse at the same time. When you implement something, and I think this is one thing that I genuinely want a way, and believe me, I'm working on it, on how to do it. I want a way to explain it to people. Maybe I'll create a video or a post or something like this. Anybody here who is not from a technical background, who just deals in crypto, I think I need a way to make them explain on this like a pro and con. When you implement something on a validator layer, right? When you implement something on a blockchain's architectural or a consensus level, you work on epochs, right? You work on blocks, you work on transactions. These things are complex in nature. So when you say one epoch, right, it's essentially close to 1.5 to 2 hour, and waiting for like that, right? For example, the epoch will start in 3 minutes. I just deployed my automation. I just registered an automation task, and it starts after 3 minutes. The next time I registered an automation task, it took 1 hour. I'll be like, oh my god, the automation is not working, it's broken. No, it's not broken. The epoch was 3 minutes away when you last did it. The epoch was 1 hour away when you currently re-registered it. So I think, and this is one of the things that I have been very, very actively been chatting with Josh about as well, that I want a way in the automation assist tool to have people like visually see how a epoch like is transitioning. Just telling them when the next epoch starts won't make sense. Like why there is a 3-hour timer. A timer is also there in iAssets, and yet my Discord DM is full of all the swear words that I have taken their iAssets. So I mean, so this is something that this is the next pain point that I'm trying to think about how to solve, how to visually show people what an epoch looks like. I mean, this is I'm working on right now for the AutoFi. So I'm giving you an alpha here. I guess I did had a chat with Yong, but this alpha here in this AMA is I am working on AutoFi Assist Dev Toolings 3.0, right? 1.0 was all about CLI, 2.0 was about or total 100% no code of just using click and button. 3.0 will be about a totally different UI experience where I want a way to visually show an epoch so people understand that if you want the security of the automation, if you want the speed of the automation, if you want the integrity of the automation, there might be some cases where you need to also understand that there might be limitations like in epoch. I mean, we can't run it off, but as Yong said, in the future there will be a lot of things that will come. The team is already working on introducing a way to make automation transaction fee more better, more optimized. The team is already working on a way where we can make it more faster in the future. The research team has started work, the DeFi team has started discussion with the researchers. So all this is taken in place, and these pain points that are still there will definitely be addressed as we go forward. But yeah, I mean, just want to complete the conversation.
And that's true, Jatin. Especially, kind of what Yong also shared, and I think the main thing here is that we have came such a long way in such a short time, right? I remember that I met with one of the kind of people from Supra around the same month last year, and so much has happened actually in the last year from in the past year is that we can just get lost into that how much fast the tech is building and how fast the community is able to keep up with this new way of approaching things. But hey, I think we experiment, we iterate, we improve, we take feedback. That's where we are. And I think we are and the Supra is doing really good. Really looking forward to the tools that you mentioned for the devs, because as Yong was saying, the tools that you provided in 2 months, things has improved a lot. And I'm sure that kind of if as the time goes, we it will become much more easier for both the builders as well as the users to do things into this, right? So I think this has been a great conversation, I guess, and a lot of alpha here for people who are interested in AutoFi. Now, coming on, I think we have a few last questions, and then we will wrap it up. So for Jay, I think kind of, because I am also from DeFi. Uh, I keep thinking about different ways of how AutoFi actually improves something, and MEV is one of the favorite subject, right? I mean, from years we have been thinking about it. What's Just wanted to take what's your call on? Do you think AutoFi can change the economics of being an LP? Like, for example, less impermanent or passive loss, more fair capture of MEV. Does these kinds of things come up with AutoFi and what you are thinking and building in your platform?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And I mean, if I were to kind of break it down, it would be in three ways, I guess. By kind of enabling frequent gas efficient on-chain rebalances, composable arbitrage flows that we reduce exposure to stale prices, right? There's obviously system level priority for rebalances, and you know it kind of reduces arbitrage latency that usually advantages searchers who are looking for these kind of opportunities, right? And obviously, as I said, AutoFi kind of makes it easier to build protocol level MEP capture or like fee sharing mechanisms, kind of like bundling rebalances into blocks and routing surplus to LPs. So, yeah, I mean, I think it definitely will not completely eliminate risk, if I were to say that way, but it definitely shifts the economics towards LPs capturing kind of more of the upside, and less of the pick off loss, like kind of maximizing the good, minimizing the bad.
And definitely, I think that the LPs are one of the biggest users who has been pulling up the DeFi rope. So definitely, it would be great to have a lot of tools being built for them. Because definitely for us builders, when we look into the consumer DeFi space, we always think about simplifying things and building, but it's really the LPs who have been putting up their money to bootstrap the ecosystem, to bootstrap the app, and definitely it matters a lot that they can get good things going on for them as well with AutoFi, right?
100%.
Fantastic. And now for Yong, I have a kind of an interesting market related question for you. Because, kind of especially when we talk about NFTs, people have often associated this with, kind of with cycles that, kind of this comes up. There is a lot of hype about it because, I mean, of course, there is a reason for having a lot of hype about it because when it comes down, there are biggest to biggest celebrities who start promoting it and all those things starts happening. I also believe that it kinds of settle down somewhere, like many posts I see on the Supra Twitter is about Supra being in the middle of a bull cycle for NFTs. um so number one, what's your take on that? Because of course the NFT prices on Supra has been going up like crazy. Volumes on Crystara has been growing much faster than anywhere else. Do you see that AutoFi can help you create more consistent gamified mechanics to keep this volume steady rather than changing with hype cycles? Do you have any take on it?
Yeah. So if you look, I mean, if you study like basic economics, right, you would know that hype cycles are always a very sharp, U curve, or like an N curve, and then it just kind of flatlines, right? So I would say that what we have at Supra is not something of a hype cycle, but more of something that is a natural growth after the hype cycle. Something that is like an evolution of NFTs. It started with the on-chain rarities that we were doing. It kind of created this scarcity. It created this thrill to kind of mint something. It gave creators more of a reason to have different rarity and different tiers of NFTs on the platform. So it kind of drive a bit more speculation, a bit more fun in NFTs. When it comes to AutoFi, so I think if you look at it from first principles, NFTs were a hype and crash because it was just all JPEG, photos, and there was really nothing behind them. And the way that NFTs are structured on at least move chains is that you're able to add signing capabilities to NFTs. So back to your question, if AutoFi will help NFTs, I think it for sure will, because of the fact that you can automate stuff on the NFT itself, because the NFT can do its own sending of transactions, signing of different things on chain. You can gamify an NFT to have like a Tamagotchi experience on chain. Like, I enable AutoFi on my NFT to kind of always feed it maybe every 5 minutes and get a reward out of it is something that is possible. So definitely it leads to whoever has the brains to kind of think about all these kind of things. But at Crystara, we're kind of setting the pace for NFTs. I think as an industry wide, it's definitely more fun to mint NFTs here than anywhere else because of what we've already accomplished, and AutoFi will accelerate it further. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Yong. And I do have a bonus question for you, Yong. Kind of we got really a lot of good insights from you. So I'll just
Go ahead.
fly it by you that and what do you think in general? Because you had an opinion before as well. So kind of I wanted to ask it then that for outsiders, kind of someone who is new who has just started building automation and AutoFi. What do you think is the hardest challenge building with uh, automation that people outside don't realize, right? I mean, those builders like you who have been building on, kind of automation, they know that these are the hard parts.
I think when you're an external builder, first time building on Supra, like you think about what AutoFi can achieve, it's to enhance the blockchain primitives, right? Like the whole blockchain experience. But you first have to build an app or extend some sort of app. Like if let's say Crystara allowed you to extend, some functionalities, get some details from on-chain to different modules that you can kind of code your own thing. then for a new developer, that is how it can work. Unless, or the other option is you would develop your own app first, then add AutoFi. So AutoFi is kind of an enhancement feature. It's kind of a quality of life feature. In some cases, it's a critical feature for trading, for liquidations. There's, I would say, not a very straight answer for this question. It just depends on, if you're a builder, what is your goal? Are you trying to create an app, or are you trying to extend some functionalities on chain? But the idea of AutoFi being fully on chain, your secrets are never leaked, your seed phrases are never leaked. That is the main focus. That if that is valuable to you, that's why you should build with AutoFi.
Amazing, very well said, Jong. And definitely, it's something new. You must realize the value, and there is value. You have to be courageous enough to try out new things. I mean, it's very easy for people to put one application from one EVM chain to another EVM chain, given the nature of our industry where we build on the open source ethos. But it's really when it's come on building something new, like we do it on Supra, it really matters that whether you want to go and experiment and do really the hard work that you wanted to do. So I'd say very well said. That's a very good advice for a lot of builders.
And I do want to add one thing.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So because of how much tech there is in Supra, it actually attracts, what I think, it actually attracts builders that want to try something new. Like at the current state of blockchain, I think there are too many apps on too many chains, like what you said, that are just copies of one another. And that is a very huge problem for the space, because you're just kind of thinning out the whole user experience, right? But you see Solido, you see Crystara, you see Dexlyn, we're all trying to integrate new technology that, Supra innovates. And that kind of differentiates the apps on Supra, right? They're Supra apps. So when people come onto Supra, what they first realize is that every single app has some sort of unique twist, unique ability that just stands out from all of the other chains, because of the fact that everything is vertically integrated. Everything can be integrated into your app to make it very special. So that's why I feel that Supra's experience, like people using Supra apps, are like the top experience on chain, and that will slowly seed into people that use Supra, and it's just going to be great from here on.
Very well said. Very well said, Yong. Thanks a lot for this. It should be very valuable for a lot of people here. And I'd say that definitely with this, these were the major questions. I see that the time is already flying by, so we will put a hold onto this. I just took some time to look at the Q&As, some of the questions that you have put it. Most of these questions, honestly, from Solido community, they have been around our tokens and the ICO, which is not really the focus of this particular space. So I will be skipping on them. If you have any specific question about from Jatin, from Yong, or from Jay, please feel free to put it down. One question I saw about how AutoFi will be integrated with the AI agents that I talk about. We are still experimenting and writing a paper around it. We are on the much advanced stage. What I can say for now is that AutoFi provides the way Supra vertically integrates everything. We believe that the AI agents tomorrow, if they want to build, it cannot be done on a very centralized scenarios. It has to be built on some level of autonomy, and that level of autonomy can only be provided by automations that are built on the chain level, not on the keepers and the bots level. So this is where we see that the major differentiator of AI agents for AutoFi will be coming up. There is a lot more bullish things we have. I am just finalizing on the paper, and then you can expect that in a couple of weeks, the Solido team will drop down the paper along with a breakup of how these AI agents are really leveraging AutoFi to build something that cannot be built, and that's kind of something that's going to be a game changer in the AI agents based industry, especially in the blockchains. So I will say with this, we come to a end of this space. Now I will just like all the speakers here that they can give a one sentence takeaway around, especially around what do you want the audience to remember about AutoFi, and specifically in your world, right? So not a paragraph, just try to minimize, something that the audience can remember about AutoFi in your world. Jay, would you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, AutoFi is basically how you make your money work for you.
Amazing. Very well said, I guess. And how about you, Jatin? What do you want to remember this from the Supra side? You guys are the inventors, so anything in one line you can sum up?
Okay, that is hard. What Autofi gives you the power to control everything that can happen in the future, and you can own everything while being secure.
Nice. That's a very bullish and that's a very true statement. I definitely agree, right? That AutoFi will secure because it's not really the DeFi is really not secure in the way it really operates. We keep seeing that this fragility comes down and this is being solved. Thanks a lot, Jatin, for sharing this. How about you, Yong? What do you think about? What do you want to remember about AutoFi in your world?
Hey, so sorry, I think I clicked off. Um, so I'll use my phone right now. Sorry if the audio is bad, but yeah, I think one sentence about AutoFi in my world would be make NFTs great again. No, okay, so AutoFi will help NFTs will really help make NFTs great again because you're gonna get so much possibilities and so much exciting stuff out of it. Yeah, that's it.
Amazing, amazing. I think we will definitely remember this. If nothing else, for sure. Well said. So, all right. I think with this, I would say that everyone should definitely follow our speakers here. The the protocols or the companies that they represent are also available here to give them a follow if you're not already. It's great building with all of them. I will definitely like to say that kind of this kind of brings us to the end of our very first building blocks of AutoFi series. Use thanks to our speakers, Jatin from Supra, Jay from Dexlyn, Yong from Crystara. They for kind of they really share some great insights, and special thanks to them for hanging out for so late. We are already 26 minutes off the go, but it has been a really interesting conversation, and especially because these guys are the OG builders who have been in the trenches of Supra since day one. And I think today showed how far AutoFi has come in such a short time. So that's really great to see. Now, from my side, if there is one thing to take away, I would say that AutoFi isn't just an idea anymore. It is live, it is powering protocols, and it is setting the stage for how DeFi will work in near future. At Solido, we have always believed automation is the missing layer that makes DeFi unstoppable. And definitely after this conversation, I am even more bullish. The ecosystem is stronger when we build together, and Supra's AutoFi stack really gives us the tool that makes that vision real and help allow us to build this more easily. Um, and yeah, on the ending note, I will say that this is only episode one. Very frequently, we will bring in new voices, new builders, and new perspectives. So, but this kickoff with OGs is definitely something special, right? Because they have seen this from the day one. To everyone listening, thanks a lot for joining us. Thank you for your questions and thank you for being part of this journey. The AutoFi story is just getting started and we are building it together. I am Mr. Squire. This was Building Blocks of AutoFi, and I will see you in the episode 2 very soon. Stay bullish.